It has reached that moment of the night. Decisions, and oh yeah, on a random note, when did Best Buy started doing this stuff here? A whole collectibles aisle, holy shit. I should come here more often now. This is like a fair amount of double dip situations. Like the Wonder Woman is just, I love that cover since I saw it. It looks awesome, and for $10 for an Ultra HD Blu-ray, eventually I will upgrade. And then a few other titles that I don't have. It's crunch time. My goal was to spend very much under $100. $50 right on the dot is what my initial lowest amount I wanted to spend, or highest amount technically. Either way, I'm happy. $50 worth of items here. It's one of those things where you're blindsided by all the cheap goodness in there, and then you really have to decipher. This is after years of Black Friday shopping. Any item, it doesn't have to be movies, it could be anything. Quality over quantity. It looks awesome for sure when you have a giant haul of movies, or you buy like 2 TVs or something crazy like that. But learning from experience, just buy what you feel like you have the most urge to watch, as well as what you feel will have the best replay value for yourself, versus a one and done situation. Unless it's like $1 or something like that, sure. But even $4 to me is a good chunk of change to spend on a movie that you may not want to watch over and over. But anyways, got a few items intact. If I could do any more shopping, let's see how it goes. It was an intense feeling when you go into these stores. I went once everything was over with my family. I just figured, well, have a hint of money to spend, and oh boy did I. But this is not going to be everything that I purchased just that night. I'm going to be showcasing everything I purchased for the month of November, mainly because I've neglected to do any type of video here on my channel like this for a very long time. I recommend highly, if you want to even know what I pick up on a daily basis, I highly recommend following me on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, however you like to go about that. Mainly on Instagram. My handle is right around here somewhere. I'll put an annotation. Follow my podcast, The Fan's Guide to Animation, with me and my buddy Daniel. Follow him as well. You know, a slew of things in the description below. We got some awesome content there as well for you to listen to, whether it's on our website or on iTunes. So we'll be doing a technical part 2, and that's going to be for my collectible goodness segment, which I have not done in so long. It's going to be fun for my Black Friday 2017 haul / November haul for movies as well as collectibles. See that. It'll also be uploaded on my channel sooner than later. Outside of all that mumbled mess of words, I also hope you all had a very happy Thanksgiving and a great holiday if you do celebrate it. Hope you all had an awesome time with family, friends, or just even if it's just with yourself. Hope you had an awesome day. Just, you know, so much bleakness in the world nowadays, and I feel that we want to get to Christmas and Thanksgiving faster every year because everything just gets so bleak. And one of the biggest things that I'm going to side note here before I get to everything materialistic is life is one of those very up and down type situations. It's so bleak yet so hopeful at the same time that you have to always find this balance. And I only say this because I feel just the need to. So much tragedy happens in the world, and these first world situations of not finding a Blu-ray or collectible you're looking for, it's kind of dumb, but at the same time, it's something that gives us joy, even though it's kind of, it's something that gives us joy, and I feel that just being able to share our thoughts with the community of people, maybe like you yourself right now, I feel being able to talk movies and enjoying each other's opinions and being civil and not complete pricks, I think that just makes for an awesome experience here on YouTube. And I know it's not really I really don't care to get political or over the top with thoughts like this, but I feel this is the holidays, damn it. We must enjoy ourselves. We must also be kind to each other, just bringing more love into the world versus all the hatred like our idiot of a president is, or all the natural disasters, all this craziness around the world. Just treat each other better. Just be nice to each other. And if you do have a conflicting thought or opinion, be civil. That's it. Just do your best to be civil. So, yeah, I don't know. I just figured I haven't really said much on a lot of political things that I feel that I just wanted to shoot out there. But instead of being negative, I figured be more uplifting and positive with that message that I wanted to share with y'all. So, let's get down to the materialistic goodness. First up, I'm going to go through everything I picked up in November. I think I have everything here. I'm probably wrong. It's been a long month, and I feel that I probably am missing stuff. First up is Charlie Bartlett. These next couple titles, as well as this one, I picked up from my local video store entitled CD Exchange. If you are in the San Antonio area, check them out. They are an awesome video store place that you can get $1.99 movies from time to time. There was a big clearance sale. I have an acquaintance of mine that works there. He gave me a heads up. While I didn't pick up any Blu-rays they had on clearance, I did pick up something like this here. And it's on up until right now that I'm noticing is this. Oh, thank God. Whew. It blended in so well. I barely maybe you caught it faster than I did, but Crystal? I've never seen Crystal spelled that way. But Crystal, this was her DVD. And it's written on the damn case. But it blended so perfectly on Anton Yelkin's arm that I missed that while buying this. Holy shit, that's funny. That's funny. That's a good blending of words there. Everything is just so colorful and over the top of this artwork, and I love it. And it's a shame this movie hasn't made its way onto Blu-ray as far as I know. But it's a great movie, and rest in peace, Anton Yelkin. I don't know how to say his last name. Great actor. Too bad he is unfortunately gone now. But outside of him, Kat Dennings, Hope Davis, and Robert Downey Jr. Definitely a great high school flick. Really, really funny and endearing as well. Next up is a childhood favorite of mine. I've talked about it in length before. This was my part of my 200th episode, I think, where I talked about some of my favorite guilty pleasures, and this is also a childhood favorite. A movie that was technically panned, but at the same time later gained a cult following, and that is The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle. I haven't seen this in quite some time, but I remember enjoying it a lot. I remember laughing, having a good time seeing this in the theater, and I love Rocky and Bullwinkle, and it's also it's such a bummer and a shame. June Foray, the voice of Rocky, sadly passed away earlier this year, but she lived a great life and a legacy that will last a lifetime for us fans of hers, voicing anyone from Rocky to the original Natasha on the show, and a slew of other characters. Anything from she was in everything. She was one of those living legends that just warmed our hearts with her performances. And while the character of Rocky was a little bit shaky in this movie, overall she still did a great performance. And this is actually genuinely a good, funny, I guess, road trip movie. It's such a weird movie, but check it out especially if you enjoyed the show. Next up is I guess in a way another movie from childhood, and I can't stress this enough, where I'm just like, this was kind of stupid when they released a Blu-ray, but I had to get this on DVD, and I lucked out. I didn't want to pay no more than maybe about $2 or $3 for it, but I thought, well, it was brand new and sealed. Why the hell not? And I traded in a couple movies at the time of buying these, so it took off like a couple dollars from my trade-in. So I think essentially I paid $4 for this. I think. Bedazzled. Harold Ramis worked a lot on this movie, and may he rest in peace as well. He was the director of this remake. This is hands down one of my favorite Brendan Fraser performances, as well as Elizabeth Hurley, and it's not for the obvious. I could make a ton of innuendo jokes for this, but I'm not going to do that. But this is brand new, sealed, and originally from Walmart for $5.88. I remember actually buying it for that price back in the day. I remember this tag. It's so trippy to see this, and I had to get it. I really didn't want to spend $5, give or take, but I had to. It just blew my mind that I found it, and now I almost don't want to open it. It's kind of weird. But the bummer, like I said, they released this on Blu-ray, and they didn't put the bonus features on there. And I only give a shit mainly because it's Harold Ramis, and he did do a commentary for it, and he actually gave a shit about making this movie. I remember seeing some of the behind-the-scenes stuff originally from the DVD I had years back before I sold it. And, of course, that was before he passed and everything, but it just made me respect all the more his work, and this is, I think, one of his most underrated movies. A lot of people love, like, Groundhog's Day and a few other ones that I'm kind of missing at the top of my head, but yeah, one of his most underrated movies, if you ask me, and I think it's a pretty solid remake compared to the Dudley Moore and Peter Cook original movie, so Bedazzled. Next up is one of those movies that I think it was a bit of a sleeper hit. It didn't bomb, but it didn't do great either. It was kind of one of those mediocre movies, and that is Atomic Blonde. I loved the visual imagery to this movie. I loved the blue aesthetic that they kept going with, this tint of blue, and the steelbook is amazing. I love the artwork all around this steelbook, and it was worth every penny. I think while it is definitely a slow movie, it definitely has a lot of just a lot of twists and turns near the end as well. I think it definitely deserved a rewatch, and I think it definitely deserved to do a little bit better. Charlize Theron, James McAvoy as well, both delivered some great performances here. This is a grocery store find. This is one of these movies that I believe is out of print, I think. And slowly but surely I've been trying to dive into more of Wes Craven's work, just besides the Nightmare on Elm Street stuff and Scream, and that is The Last House on the Left. I at first thought this was that remake that was done a few years back, but no, this is actually his original film, the unrated collector's edition, and I don't know if there's another version to this, especially on Blu-ray. I'm sure there's a couple different versions of it on DVD, but I don't know. Maybe this is like the original print version. Either way, I'm very interested to see this. I'm always interested to check out Wes Craven's stuff. I have yet to see some of his more classic work, but I definitely know this is one of the more cult hits that he's done before, so definitely can't wait to check that one out. Next up is some half-price books finds. We've got some DVD, another DVD, and a couple VHS. I know I picked up other stuff like this, but VHS, I haven't found that much good stuff recently, which is kind of bumming me out. I want to find more VHS copies of different artwork variations. That's what I love to find. But anyways, I found the first season of Men in Black, the animated series. I love this show. I love the first Men in Black. The second one was alright. The third one was kind of... and the series was really good. I remember the first season is a bit rocky, especially when it came to the animation. But the second season I remember and the third season were pretty solid, and then the fourth season kind of petered out a little bit. They had a better budget. You can tell the animation got better after season one. But, I mean, the voice actors for J and K were really great, and I believe, let me see here, dang it, I can't remember the name of an episode I wanted to mention, but either way, this was a dang slick series. It's behind the people who made Jackie Chan Adventures, Extreme Ghostbusters, and a slew of other great shows they've made over the years. So yeah, I don't know if they ever put out the rest of the series at all, but I saw season one. Had to pick this one up. I definitely can't wait to revisit this. And a couple VHS. I've yet to see this movie, but I didn't even know they made it on VHS. I thought this was a fairly newer movie, and I guess it could have been right at the end of VHS when they were being made, and that is Spirited Away. This is a slick looking VHS. Just the black cover, cover art, as well as the black case. It looks great. I love the simple artwork, and I love the animation style. I've heard amazing things. It's definitely like the most known Miyazaki movie, I think, but I haven't seen either one of them. I've seen the imagery, I've seen them all everywhere, and hopefully this finally gets me to just sit down and watch this damn movie. I've heard so many things. I need to see this. I need to now. And last but definitely not least of the VHS titles is my arguably uh, this could be argued as my favorite comedy of all time, but it's definitely in my top 10 of all time, though, and that is Bud Abbott and Lou Costello Meet Frankenstein. Finally, finally found a VHS copy of this. I love the simple artwork variation. I like they're just like, whoo, the scary monster right behind us is, oh shit, he's behind us. I love this movie so much. It's what got me introduced to a lot of black and white era comedy films, and I'm so happy to have this in my collection. I have the Blu-ray. I love the Blu-ray. I've seen it dozens of times already, it feels like. And to have a VHS copy of it, just warms my heart. So, yay! And in the finalness of all the non-Black Friday stuff for the media, Barnes & Noble, their Criterion Collection sale. I was kind of unaware of some of the titles that were available, and I just went, and I could really at the time only afford a couple titles at most. I kind of regret the, not so much the purchase in general, but that there's other versions of this one of the titles, and I'm just like, so I may have to wait. I don't know. I'm happy with it no matter what. But anyways, first up, The Blind Buy. I heard about this earlier this year, and this seems interesting, and the cover looks interesting, and I took a shot. I really did. I don't know if this is going to be any good, but it was a movie that barely got released here in the States, in America, this year, but it looks like it was made in 2015. And that is, I believe, the Polish film. Yeah, Polish film. The Lure. A horror musical is something that doesn't happen very often. The last movie that did that, to my knowledge, is like Repo the Genetic Opera, and I love that movie, so I think that's kind of why I jumped with this. But the trailer looked interesting, and I bit the bullet. See what happens, see if I regret my purchase later on. And the title that I kind of not regret purchasing, but I thought, shit, I should have bought that cool set if I would have known it existed. That is the Guillermo del Toro film, Pan's Labyrinth. This artwork is beautiful. I love it. I can look at this for like minutes at a time just staring at it. It's such a visually amazing film. I've seen bits and pieces of it. I'm ashamed to say I haven't seen it in its entirety, but the bits and visuals that I've seen on YouTube here or there are breathtaking. I'm one of the best filmmakers of a generation, and I'm so happy that he still makes great visual, awesome movies. Crimson Peak recently was really great. A little bit of a kind of a alright story, but visually that movie was fantastic. Very gothic and creepy. And The Shape of Water coming out later this coming out in December later this year. Cannot wait for that one. But as far as I'm talking about the regret, there is a trilogy that they put together in terms of the Criterion Collection, and it was an awesome looking box set that was like gonna be $50 because of the Criterion sale, but I missed it, and I don't even know if the Barnes & Noble that I picked this up at had it. I'm sure they did. They usually have the box sets kind of in the back, so that's probably why I missed it. But if I would have known that, I possibly wouldn't have gotten The Lure, and I would have just bought that trilogy because I definitely wanted to see those other movies. But too late now. I'm stuck with these, but hopefully they'll, I know The Lure is a bit of a gamble, but I know this movie will be great. I know it, so happy to have that in my collection. We're finally down to the nitty gritty, the actual Black Friday haul. A lot of misfires in terms of just a lot of meh titles that were available. It's kind of shame. I just feel that I think it's more to do with how picky I've gotten, though. There was definitely a fair amount of selection, especially at Best Buy. A lot of cool 4K titles that went on sale for $9 or $10. No wait, like $9 and $15, something like that. So that's more on me, as well as my budget. I really couldn't. I couldn't handle it. I just kind of was overwhelmed at Best Buy because I'm just like, I want a lot of this stuff. There was even like a random buy one get one free sale too in the midst of all that. I'm just like, oh my god, I didn't know what to do. I stood in line with like a stack of titles, as you saw briefly in that that segment that I shot before everything. It hurt to put half of it back, really. I had like 10 titles Then I had about 15, almost 20 titles, and put some back. And then when I finally got down to it, I had about, let's see here, which ones did I pick up? 1, 2, 3, 4. I ended up picking up 4 titles at Best Buy. And I had about 8 in my hand while in line. And I just kept telling myself, do I really need this? Do I really need, it's tough. But for someone like myself, I have to restrict myself. I have to put myself on a budget. And I already felt regret anyways. I didn't even pick up nowhere near as much as some people do out there. So I probably spent, this is, again, most of this is the whole month's worth, but it's still a lot. And some people probably spent as much as I did in a month in one day. So, I mean, I guess there's that. I feel good for myself that I restricted myself that much and held myself just not buying every little title I could buy. I actually tried to be smart and spend only what I really, really wanted to spend on these particular titles right here. First title up is the Steelbook 20th Anniversary Edition of Space Jam. This cover is a mess. I just got to say it that way. I sold my original copy, and I was just kind of like, why did I do that? It was one of those moments where financial stuff happens, unfortunately, and I sold a few titles fairly recently, and I'm just like, shit. I should have not have sold that, but oh well. $5.99, worth it, regardless of the jumbleness of the whole artwork. That's clearly terribly photoshopped, but I don't care. It's such a classic film. I enjoy it a lot, and happy to have it back in my collection. This is a movie that is going to get a lot of comparisons possibly to Coco, and that is The Book of Life. The same idea of people going into the world of the dead and transforming into characters like those Day of the Dead characters, turning into a skeleton figure and stuff like that. It has a hint of, it's definitely got a hint of similarities to Coco. Considering this movie came first, a lot of people are like, oh no, Coco can't be as good as this movie. And to be honest, it's an okay movie. It's not, again, Guillermo del Toro, he produced this, and you can see a lot of his influence there in terms of just the designs of the characters. Ron Perlman's also in it as a voice, so that's, again, a lot of the staples of his classic, a lot of his staples for making movies here. A good movie. It's not the best, and the story is a hint on the weak side, but overall, it's a pretty solid movie, and I was definitely saying it's worth the purchase because they revamped it with slipcovers. This is the original cover here, but they actually started reprinting slipcovers for it. I'm not too sure why exactly, but this is the 3D version that was for $6.99. I never got this movie. I was waiting to find either the original version's slipcover with this same exact version of the cover on there, but this cover looks a lot more bright and vivid to me, so had to jump on it for $6.99. Not bad at all. And this is a blind buy. I don't know if this is going to be good, and the bummer is it kind of reminds me of that shit Taylor Swift song every time I read the title. But I haven't heard anything on it, and that is Batman Bad Blood. I know this has definitely got some characters I have not seen or have been introduced to whatsoever. Batwing and Batwoman in particular. I don't know anything about those characters at all. So I don't know where this movie... I'm trying to read on... I don't know where this movie goes. I really don't. I don't know where this... If this is like with the Batman vs. Robin came out around the same time this movie did. I don't know if it's like a sequel to that. Is it? I don't know. Feel free to comment below and let me know because I really don't know. I don't even know if I've seen a trailer, but for $8.99 for one of the special edition box sets, I took a shot. I did, and I love the Nightwing figure. It looks pretty cool. So, yeah, that's a thing. And last but definitely not least, arguably the most sought after 4K Blu-ray that people wanted for this particular Black Friday sale, and that is Wonder Woman. I fell in love with this cover. I love the fact that it actually features more than just the Wonder Woman character. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is like... I may be speaking too soon. I'm just going to call it. She is the equivalent of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine or Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. That level, I feel, is what Gal Gadot is for Wonder Woman. I may be too soon on that. I'm just saying, though. That's my opinion. Anyways, of the flashes of orange and blue, I don't know, something about this cover caught my eye since day one, and I was just like, I'm never going to probably buy this because I'm not paying $30, but $9.99, that's worth the double dip. So, yeah. Wonder Woman, a damn great movie. Is it the best? No, but it is definitely a great movie for 2017. Second to last titles. Of all places, Dollar General had almost like a pre-Black Friday sale. Thanks to Cinema Sickness. I know he'll probably never watch this video, but special thanks to him because I saw his video on it and his addiction to going out to several Dollar Generals for a very botched buy one get one free sale. And that's a really cool enough sale because I've seen Dollar General movies every once in a while where they're like $5 or $10 usually, and for $5 you buy one and you get one free. Yeah, that's a great deal. That's a really great deal. For $5 you get 2 movies. But apparently there was a major error in the system that I don't think it was ever corrected because I got in really late on the game on this one. I went to my local Dollar General, and a lot were picked through, but there was still quite a bit of a selection. I got the 2 movies I technically wanted the most, and they were $1.24 each. That is so fucking broken. I don't know what happened there. I believe he never figured out the reason why that happened, and I definitely didn't either, so $1.24 Blu-rays. That is arguably the cheapest you could ever get in an actual chain or store or anything that's not a used pawn shop or video store. That is beyond amazing. And maybe at Goodwill if you're lucky, but even there, Blu-rays can sometimes be about $4 at the cheapest, at least from what I've seen. But for $1.24, these movies, one blind buy and one kind of a guilty pleasure, I'd like to think. The blind buy was The Usual Suspects. I've heard great things of this movie. It's a classic 90s movie. Got some great actors in there. Well, yeah, cool to have that in my collection. It's definitely been a movie I've been wanting to see also. And for the guilty pleasure, I despise Megan Fox. I'm just going to say that right now. I don't care for her acting. I don't even find her that conventionally attractive. She is attractive. She is a beautiful woman technically, but I don't know, something about her, I just didn't catch on to the Megan Fox, that she's hot, and that whole wave of amount of people that said that at the time of her peak of popularity is when this movie came out, and I was just like, meh, she's alright, I'm sure she's a good person, maybe, I don't know, but I just don't care for her acting. I don't really care for her in Transformers either. But she was the thing for a while, and yeah, Jennifer's Body was that peak of popularity. And for whatever reason, her being a succubus, that just kind of makes sense. That sounds like a very mean joke, but I'm just saying, she was actually pretty solid in this movie. And Amanda Seyfried was also really great. It's interesting to say the least. It's a really weird movie. It's a thing. It's a movie about Megan Fox getting possessed and becoming a succubus, eating people, and Amanda Seyfried having to stop her. Interesting enough. You got me sold. And last but definitely not least, the only Target pickup, because Target's deals were shit this year. And if you're asking, Anthony, did you go to Walmart? Pfft, fuck no. I never go there generally unless I really need to get something for a family member. That's pretty much it. I don't really go there to hunt movies, even on Black Friday. And I've heard they've had some good stuff in the past, but I don't go there. I'm sorry. I just find their deals to be meh. And once in a blue moon, I've kind of missed a deal or two, but even then, I'm just like, not a big loss. One thing I had to get from Target. Everything else was shit, but this is the one thing. Stranger Things. I am late to the party on this one. It's a great show, a great throwback / new show. I know a lot of movies and TV shows are trying so hard to recapture the 80s and 90s right now. But this show, you can clearly see, has put all the effort they can to make not only the 80s a nice throwback within itself and setting itself in this peak of pop culture that it was set in. I at least grew up with a lot of 80s stuff, and it definitely reminds me of a lot of those movies from the 80s. And it's one of those things where a lot of movies try so hard to do that, and they fail. But Stranger Things, everybody involved, the actors, the people who created it, the Duffer Brothers, and all the writers, and everybody else involved, They've made one of the best shows in recent memory. I love it. I binged season 2 so quickly after binging this first season, and I was just like, I stayed up till 4 a.m. for about 4 or 5 days in a row. I rarely do that. I like to enjoy my shows, especially if they're like Netflix shows. But holy shit, this show, wow, it just blew me away. I heard the hype. I try not to go on the hype train, but I'm hyped, and I can't wait for season 3. I can't wait, and I can't wait for season 2 to come out. I hope there's like a cool Ghostbusters exclusive or something. That would be, oh my god, that would be so awesome. But yes, that is it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Whew, it was a lengthy video, wasn't it? But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found some awesome stuff this past Black Friday. And again, if you want to see my collectible side of things, head over to that video. It'll be up sooner than later, or if not at the same time as this video. So yeah, let me know on what your thoughts of Black Friday were this year in 2017. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that other good stuff in between. So until next time, I'm Anthony Flores with Worth a Watch, and keep going to the movies.